Welcome to Cybersecurity Sense, a weekly podcast providing updates and insight into the latest in cybersecurity. Brought to you by LBMC Information Security. Now, here's your host.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to LBMC Information Security Cybersecurity Sense. It's another episode today, but this time it's not PCI induced. There is no PCI talk on this episode. In fact, we actually have not the opposite, but something that goes hand in hand with it at times. We have a pen tester, someone from our team here. So we have Daniel Nguyen, who's a manager here on the team for the technical services line. Daniel, how's it going?
Hey, well, thanks for having me. It's going well.
Yeah, good. I know we've been talking about this for a long time, trying to get this all set up. It's been a long time coming. So we'll go ahead and jump right into it just to kind of give our listeners a good idea of what we're talking about here. So why don't you just give everybody a little bit of background and what you really do, what your job consists of?
Sure. Well, I've been working here as a pen tester at LBMC for close to 4 years now. Started off being the pen tester doing the actual hands-on keyboard stuff. And since then, I've moved up to a manager. I'm now managing the projects and training up the people who do the hands-on keyboard stuff.
Heck yes. I remember whenever I did my first internship, you were my coach. Or buddy. Yep. Was it coach and buddy? Or it was just buddy?
I think I was just your buddy at the time.
I think it was we were just buddies. And I just kept on hovering right behind you.
Yep.
So what got you into pen testing? Because I know you have a pretty cool background here.
I mean, I kind of accidentally wandered into it. Backstory of my life is I one of those guys who didn't know what I want to do for a while. I was, a troublemaker, was naturally very good at finding loopholes and getting my way. But I never really changed into a career until one day when my close friends told me, hey, you should check out this one cert for cybersecurity called OSCP. I knew nothing about it. I did maybe 10 minutes of research to make sure it wasn't a scam, saw it wasn't, and signed up. Somehow got the cert, and I've been here ever since.
That's awesome. And for those who are not familiar with pen testing certifications, and pen testing is a very professional term for the word hacking. So essentially it's hacking. OSCP is a certification that's offered by a company called Offensive Security. And let's just say it's been getting increasingly harder in the past few years. I have taken it myself. Unfortunately, did not pass it the first couple times I took it. We're going for a third time here soon. But it essentially tests a lot of the things that pen testers need to know how to do. And so Daniel's saying that instead of going down a different track, he ended up getting the certification and then applied for the job. So did you apply anywhere else, or was it just LBMC? Where all did you look?
Actually, funny enough, I did apply to a lot of places, but not LBMC.
Oh, it wasn't LBMC.
No, this is actually one of my funny stories. I had applied to like a dozen different places. And then out of nowhere, a recruiter one day, reaches out to me on LinkedIn and asks, hey, so would you be interested in a manager pen test position somewhere? I replied back with, I have literally no experience and only an OSCP, but if you have a junior role, I'll be happy to take it. Long story short, they pulled me into an interview at LBMC, and I've been here ever since.
Oh, that's incredible. Was the one that messaged you, was that Derek?
No, it was actually a third-party recruiter that we use.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, that's a cool background. I'm very similar in the same way that, actually, I guess maybe I'm not very similar. I knew what I wanted to do before I graduated college. But I went through college. My degree doesn't necessarily have anything to do with pen testing in and of itself. But likewise to you, Daniel, I found out that I thoroughly enjoyed this side, I guess not side hustle, but this different perspective of things. Because I actually started in software development along with, a bunch of other stuff. And much like you, I fell in love with the enjoyment of just breaking the code and making it do whatever I want it to do. So finding loopholes and everything.
It's so much fun.
It really is. I mean, you never know what you're going to hop into. You have a new engagement with a client and there's always a new environment. Well, okay, not always is there a new environment. A lot of times there's a new environment or changes, right? And it's fun to help people out and, essentially tell them, hey, here's where a security issue lies within your network, because that's what makes us happy, right? That's what makes us feel like we're doing something useful for you,
Yep.
So
for sure.
What are your future goals? Because I know you said you started as like the junior pen tester, you worked your way up to manager. How long did that take you? And did you know you wanted to be a manager whenever you started? Like, did you already have that goal, or were you just enjoying the position while you were there?
Actually, I came in with that goal in mind. I came into LBMC, I loved what we were doing, and like it. I was able to see all the work that people above me are putting in, and I wanted to be one of those people. I wanted to help, lead the team. I wanted to be someone who's able to train others. And so I came in and I immediately set a goal for myself of, I'm going to aim for the manager position. I'm not sure how long it would take me if I'd even get there in my time frame, but I figured if I aim high, I'm at least gonna end up in a good place, even if I fail my goal.
Right.
That said, luckily enough, after 2 years, Bill saw it fit to promote me to manager. And I've been here ever since, and I've been loving it.
Let's go.
I mean, like I said, yeah, I really enjoy the training aspect. I love being more hands-on with my clients, being able to drive my projects myself, and it's been a blast.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. And there's something to be said too about the team here at LBMC as well, because I know I've talked about this on past podcasts, but I'll say it again. I'm a pen tester, just like Daniel is, except for Daniel's higher than I am, but. We're working to catch up on that. So anyway, but like that being said, there's definitely something about the culture here at LBMC that, I know Daniel can speak more to this because he has some more friends in other places, but the culture at LBMC and pen testing in particular is very unique. It's something that I feel like is not a very common thing in the industry. And that's one of the reasons why we have the team that we do and the people that we do.
No, I agree. I mean, if you look at the pen test job market, at least up for the past several years, it's very normal to see a pen tester jump from one company to another every year or two.
Right.
Meanwhile, here, like we've had a stable team for a very long time, and
yes.
I think, I attribute a lot of that to just the culture that we have. It's a great place to get work done, to grow and develop yourself, and I think most importantly. We're a very non-judgmental team that tries to improve ourselves. I mean, we'll regularly bring up, past issues, lessons we learn from things that we've done that we could have done better. And it was always from a place of wanting to improve the team rather than trying to call someone out or shame them. Right. And I think it goes a very long way in just, helping keep all of us happy and helping the team grow as a whole.
I agree, man. That really critical portion to just being able to say what constructive criticism. Yep. That's something I feel like it's not a very common thing in a lot of places because there's a lot of ego that gets put into the job when it's certain areas but like Daniel's saying, it's a very unique, good group of people. And that being said, we're talking about the pen test team. I mean, this also just LBMC as a whole. The company really focuses on culture and they do their best at creating a thriving culture for anybody to come in. So that being said, the perfect gateway into the next thing I want to ask you about is, we were talking off air a little bit about some funny stories and things, and if we had any, Daniel, did anything come to your mind? I didn't quite catch anything.
There was the story from your first time right here. Want me to tell people that story?
Oh, yes, we can share this story. I'll let you tell it since it adds more emphasis whenever you tell it.
Sure thing. So this was an external pen test, and for those of you not familiar with it, external pen tests are where we start off on the public internet, so the same kind of outside lack of access a typical attacker would have. Will was interning with us his first summer there. I think that was probably like less than a month after you joined.
It was definitely less than a month.
Yeah, it was very early on his career, and we were doing an external pen test on a hospital, and we were able to actually get into their internal network from the internet. So we were browsing different things on the internal network, trying to see what we have access to, and trying and compiling notes of the breadth and depth of our compromise. During this process, I had to take a call, so I turned to Will. I tell him, "Hey, would you mind looking through these different internal web pages for me? I think there might be something good here. I'm gonna take a meeting and come out in an hour." I come out an hour later, and he has this
Ghost
colored
white.
Tray from his face. Yeah, like he saw a ghost in the office look, like 1,000-yard stare and everything. I could be go up to him and go, "Hey, Will, what's wrong?" And he explains that he saw someone die, and I start thinking to myself, that can't be right. They don't live stream that in hospitals. So I asked more details. It turns out Will had gotten into an internal dashboard with patient's vital signs.
It was like an EKG machine, kind of something like that.
Yeah. Yep, full on EKG readouts, blood pressures, O2 sat, all that stuff. And while Will was taking screenshots, everything just flatlined. So Will thought someone had died, but myself coming from a previous bio background, I explained to Will, normally if someone's about to go, their vitals are usually all over the place, and if someone just from normal to flatline, that usually means they just took off everything. So Will felt a lot better after that, but he was still shocked to take a walk around around the whole office area just to clear his head a little bit.
I think I took off early that day. I think I went
so
home. Y'all said, "Hey, go get some Starbucks and go home and just take off."
Yeah, I think I messaged her boss to going, "Hey, I think we may have scarred our new intern for life." But yeah, Will's come back, and I think to this day, it's still one of our favorite hilarious stories to tell.
It really is. It's something that I feel like every time there's a new person that joins the team, they hear that story either from Daniel, from me, from Mark Burnett, who's one of our shareholders in charge. But now he's what? He's over advisory services. He's in charge of advisory services, right?
Yep, he is.
Yeah. And then we have Bill Dean, who's another shareholder, who's the shareholder for our pen test team. One of them is always going to share the story, so it won't die. I promise you that. If you come here, you will hear it within the first month of you working here, more than likely.
Oh, you will.
And that's the thing too, though. Is, yes, like this all happened. I'm very thankful for Daniel for having the background that he did, because I feel like if anybody else who didn't have a background like that, they probably would have been like, "Oh my gosh, you probably did just see somebody die."
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, man. Oh my goodness. Pen testing is a wild ride, and so are these people, but they're a good time. They're a good time.
It really is.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So now we've got kind of like a fun little story out of the way. What do you feel like, and this is something that I feel like really is going to add some emphasis or value really to this podcast for our listeners, because we've just told a bunch of stories right now, right?
Yep.
We need to cover something substantial, because that's what we like to do here, right? We like to provide something to the listener. So what I want to talk about are some basic security principles that organizations can kind of implement right now, but instead of looking at it from a perspective of, oh, here's the news, do this, but from a perspective of, okay, we're in the weeds, we're technical people, we are the ones operating on a network. What do we see? What are things that you feel like you want to suggest to an organization, Daniel, that maybe are happening right now or are somewhat time sensitive? That people should focus on at this moment?
I mean, time sensitive, I can't think of anything comes to mind, but I will say the biggest trend I exploit would always be not just legacy systems, but pre-existing accounts, services, etc. Something I commonly see is, with security frameworks these days, they require you to update your internal security policies to, strong password policies, account lockup policies, all that good stuff.
Right.
And people are good about that. But more often than not, companies rarely go back and ensure that those changes are applied retroactively to existing computers or existing accounts.
Right.
To give you an example, domain administrator accounts, these accounts have admin access over the entire network. So if you compromise one, you practically own everything. These days, it's normal for domain admins to have very strong passwords, but I've consistently been able to compromise domain admin accounts that have existed since, the 90s or early 2000s with very weak passwords, because while companies will implement strong password policies as they grow, they never go back and enforce these changes onto existing accounts, for example. So, if these accounts predate existing password policies, there's a very good chance that they may not be compliant at all. They may not have expired passwords even. You can just password spray, say password 123, and be able to get in and compromise them right away.
Right. And a lot of people, you guys may be surprised, you listeners out there, that there are companies that actually have passwords as password 123.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing.
Like I would say, honestly, these days I focus a lot on the old stuff a lot more than the new stuff. Everyone coming out these days, they want to focus on securing the newest, latest, and greatest tech. Very few want to go back to the old stuff, and that's usually where a lot of my initial access comes from.
Yeah, and I think that's a very smart approach, Daniel, because you have to cover both fronts, right? You got to have people that cover the latest stuff and people that really like to focus on the older things. Both of those come together really well, and whenever they mesh together really well, you get a great overall perspective. I feel like a lot of us on the team are very well rounded about those specific things, but a lot of these big ransomware attacks and things you're seeing on the news, believe it or not, either they're caused by some very brand new thing, some brand new vulnerability that's coming out, or more times than not, it's a very old system that someone just overlooked and didn't protect correctly.
Yep, exactly. And I think you kind of touched upon a bit too. The newest vulnerabilities will only be applicable for like the first, say, week or so before a new patch drops. If it's a critical thing like Log4j, people are usually pretty good about patching it up as quick as possible. But yeah, like a lot of the a lot of the older stuff, they don't get the same attention or visibility, so they become much more attractive targets. And because they're inherently older, they can exist undetected for long periods of time and leaves the window for compromise open for much longer.
Right. Well, Daniel, that's a great perspective, and that's a great tip for everyone out there. And I don't want to harp on the old news. That's always a thing, or not the old news, but the old saying. But make sure you keep an eye on your systems and you keep track of how many systems you have in your network, because there are more times than not where we'll be in an engagement and we hit an IP or let's just say like an IP camera that had default credentials, and somebody didn't know that was there, and we were actually able to take over the camera and snag user hashes from a camera which they didn't know was on their network. So
yeah, if that's the engagement I'm thinking of, I think that one, the camera also had a open VPN functionality, and I think we spent a good part of that week just trying to reverse engineer the open VPN connection, try to get it working.
We were almost there. We about had it. Didn't we have it?
No, we didn't have it. We were close. We're just trying to get the configurations right, because we didn't have access to server side stuff, so we didn't know what settings they pushed down. So we were trying to make educated guesses on our end, but I think we were close.
I think if we had another week, if that, a few more days, we probably would have had it.
Oh, not even just like another week. I think if we were just able to if at the time to Amazon Prime us the same camera and just like work with it on our end, things a typical attacker would do, I think we would have been able to nail it right there.
Probably so. So even that just stresses the importance of making sure you know what's on your network. But I know you guys hear a lot about this from the PCI segment stuff, so we're not going to harp on make sure you have your inventory all set up correctly and you have everything listed. We're not going to do that to you. So anyway, we won't hold you guys too long, but just wanted to give you a quick introduction to one of the other pen testers here, who's an awesome individual and has been an absolute incredible mentor for me and getting into this role and helping me a lot out in the company. So Daniel, thank you so much for the time, sir.
Of course. Thanks, Will. Thanks for having me.
All righty. Thank you guys for listening to LBMC Cybersecurity Sense. We will see you on the next episode.